Hey guys, welcome to the Life on Purpose podcast. It's Ella and Ella from Grow with the Flow. Here we explore all things personal growth and self-discovery.
We hope to inspire you, empower you to explore your growth, and to remind you that you're never alone. So let's get right into it. Let's grow. Hi everyone.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to episode 11 today on the Life on Purpose podcast. My name's Ella, and this is other Ella from Grow with the Flow. We're so happy to have you.
It's May 3rd already.
That's crazy.
Christmas is officially 5 months ago. This year is flying by.
Yeah, this year is flying by. I was traveling until the beginning of March, so I feel like my New Year's didn't start until the first week of March.
Yeah, it was weird. I always feel like the New Year is my birthday. I'm a April baby, and it's the energetic New Year, so we'll just pretend that it's like only the second month of the New Year.
I know.
It makes me feel better.
Crazy. I'm also getting married this year, so it's like everything's like around that. I feel like that's...
I keep forgetting that too. Like that's such a huge thing.
I know. I feel like there's actually a lot going on, but every day I'm just like...
Chipping away.
away.
Anyways, you guys, we wanted to start off today with pulling a card from the Flower of Life deck that we've been pulling from. So we wanted to share this message with you guys, whether it's something that you resonate with or something that we needed to hear today. We're really enjoying starting the podcast like this, so we'll read this to you. The card is called Your Word. Choose one word that best describes your deepest value. Affirm it, hold it dear, remember it, breathe life into it, and live it. This word will be a guide and support in your daily life. It will provide a foundation for choice and action, bringing much clarity. Keep this word as long as it inspires you and feels good. When it no longer does either of these, a new word will emerge that connects you to your deepest value. Feel the creative unfolding of life. So nice. I love that.
That's so funny because we were talking about the new year, and usually you choose a word for the year.
Yes. And I love that it says keep it until it doesn't inspire you or feel good anymore. I mean, I think we get so obsessed with having like one idea or one mission or one goal, but like we're human beings. It's natural for us to like grow and move through different cycles and like leave things behind that don't serve us anymore. So,
and that's the whole point of personal growth, is that we're always growing and always evolving. So it's actually really, what's the word, like counter to what personal growth is, to like choose one thing, choose a set of values, and then be like, you know, even with me, like just going through this journey just of this year, is every single time I sit down to like review my goals, I'm like, and you get kind of hard on yourself because you're like, well, Ella, you need to like stick to one thing. But it's like, it's as the more you peel back layers, the more things either become clear or they change.
Yep.
So I love that.
That is really good.
Yeah, the next thing we wanted to touch on was Grow with the Flow Club, our community, to just invite you guys to come and join. We have a link in our bio on our Instagram, and there'll be a link in the show notes as well. But it's a community we've created for you guys to just come and feel inspired, motivated. We share affirmations every week. We share new journal prompts to inspire a new week. We have challenges that this week we're doing the gratitude challenge. So come over, tell us what you're grateful for. Let us cheer you on.
It's really just a space. It's a big conversation. I think that's what we really wanted to cultivate and create, as somewhere aside, you know, from Instagram and all these social media platforms, but a place where we can converse with other people and just share what's going on, you know, openly and in a safe space. So if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, the biggest element of this is that it's a community. So we love seeing people interact, and you can interact with us. We can chat. Like Ella said, we can share our wins, our takeaways, whatever is coming up for you. This is a safe space to do so.
And also, if that's something that you feel you'd love to be a part of, and you get there and there's an element that you'd love to see, tell us. We want to create this valuable space for you. Like, we want you to be there and feel it's for you guys.
Exactly.
So it's really exciting. Yeah, so getting into the episode today, we wanted to talk about manifesting your purpose. Woo! It's very exciting. Perfect. We love talking about purpose because for us, purpose is just self-discovery. It's coming back to who you are, what you love to do, and then infusing that into your life every day and feeling purposeful and fulfilled.
Yep. And we're going to use the word purpose until it feels so natural to you and not scary and so second nature. So here we are talking about manifesting purpose. Both big buzzwords, both can be so daunting and so intimidating. And I'm saying that because I came from that place of hearing both of those words and being like, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
What do you mean manifest purpose? It sounds like this massive mountain you have to climb, but we're going to go through it in this podcast episode and explain a few ways that have worked for us and have worked for our clients and our community on ways that you can manifest your purpose and what that actually means.
Yeah, I love that so much. So the first thing that we wanted to talk about was intention. Like, what is the why behind what you do every single day and what you'd like to manifest into your life? So it's about getting clear and concise and summarizing your purpose to serve as a guiding light throughout your journey. I think the biggest thing when it comes to manifestation in general and cultivating more purpose in your life is really getting intentional. Why am I doing this? Why do I want this specific thing? Why am I drawn to this thing? And then a really cool exercise is creating a statement out of that, and just kind of, if you want to write it on your mirror, print it out, and frame it even, like look at it every day, and you kind of have that guiding light to
It becomes like a compass, I feel like, in terms of all the decisions that come afterwards. It's the thing you will come back to. It's your why. It's like Ella used this reference in one of our workshops, and it makes me laugh because I'll always remember it. If you put a yacht on your vision board, what's that actually signify? It's not the big boat that you want. I'm sure like that's amazing, but is it to spend more time with the people you love so you can vacation with them and travel with them? That's the why behind it. There's so much more. So it's really just getting intentional with the details of what it is you're trying to manifest into your life. And once you do that, even if it starts with a thing, break that thing down into the why. How would that feel? What does that look like? All the what, why, how. Really get into it and find your intention through that.
Yeah, it's so much easier to manifest that once you understand why. It's like, if I want the yacht because I love my family, if that was it, then it's like, that's what your values are.
Which is our second point. When you're manifesting your purpose, it's a huge, huge component of this whole experience is self-discovery. Coming back to yourself and really recognizing what's your voice versus what's the voices of the people and the worlds around you. So cutting through the noise, setting specific goals like we talked about earlier, breaking down your purpose into smaller, more specific goals. So if you have this big vision for yourself or this big intention, this could be an opportunity now to go inwards and go deeper and deeper and break each bit piece by piece. And just essentially the whole purpose of this element of self-discovery is just to recognize what's true to you and what feels authentic and what is most in alignment with your values.
And this could have a shadow side too. So if it's like, I want a yacht, and when you really dig deep, it's like, well, just because I want to tell the people I went to high school with, like, I did it. Yeah, like, if it's like something like that, that's okay too. Like, that's very valuable information. Then it's like, where are those beliefs coming from? And if that, that's not something that's very valuable to you and that you don't really need to be doing that, it's like, then you can understand yourself so much better to be able to come up with.
Yeah, it's all a matter of becoming more self-aware. And sometimes self-awareness, there is a lot of shadow to it. You just realize that maybe some of the decisions or some of the things in your life what the like truth behind it. I think that's why it's so important when you're going down the self-discovery rabbit hole, is just to be honest with yourself. You're not benefiting anyone by writing down what you think your partner wants to see or your mom wants to see or your best friend. This is truly your journey. So the more honest you can get and the more personal and in depth and intentional you can get, the better. And the better your outcomes will be, and you'll just feel more free in return.
And it will flow easier.
Yep.
Like if you're doing something with the wrong intention, it's going to feel
There's so much resistance.
Yeah.
Big time.
The next one is embodiment, which is such a beautiful one.
I love that word.
Yeah. So the embodiment is all about embodying that version of you that you want to cultivate. So a good exercise is like write out that version of you that you want to be, or write out the values of somebody that you look up to and why you look up to them. Like those things that you really want to bring into your life. And then start to embody what that person would do. If you want to manifest a yacht, what does somebody who owns a yacht do? Like, do they get up and just make their coffee and fly out the door and like don't brush their hair, just have like a chaotic morning? Or do they get up early and journal and, like whatever that person does? I'm just saying the stuff that I would do, but that whatever it is for you, like that version of who you want to be, start to embody that. Like, what would they wear? Who would they follow on social media? Who would they surround themselves with? You can step into that right away. You don't need permission. You don't need to become this next version of yourself to be the next version of yourself. And then once you start doing those things, it's easier for you to align and bring those things into your reality.
Right. And they become more natural, right? I think one of my biggest pet peeves, and I do this, I'm guilty of this too, but it's hearing people say, I can't do that. Or if they see someone that they really admire and they're like, I'll never be that, or I'll never be this. And I just think that that's not true at all. It's like, obviously there's certain things that take a little bit more time and resources to achieve, but let's break it down to the basics. Like Ella said, like the time you get up in the morning, or the things that you're following, or the things you consume, or the things you eat, like the things that you do have control over now, you can make those changes almost immediately. So if it's like, I aspire to be like, if for somebody that I look up to, or somebody that I want to be somebody that's very health conscious. Okay, how can I adapt my day in this moment now to be one step closer to that? It doesn't have to be this huge change. It doesn't need to be like, how can I get this 5-year degree in 5 days? No, but what can I do right now to get me closer to that?
Yeah.
Instead of sitting, and again, we're all so guilty of this. I'm guilty of this, is in the present moment saying, I'll be happy when, or I want that. It's like, okay, that's what you want. That's amazing. You already know what you want. There, you're step 1. Step 2, how can I get closer to that? And what is it that I can start doing now to get me closer to that? It doesn't have to be this huge thing.
Yeah.
Embodiment truly is stepping into that persona, stepping into that essence, like that you'll slowly adapt, and the things will start to align. Like, just, if we could just do it one piece at a time, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, I agree. One good example is, I always used to say, like, I want to be the kind of mom that bakes everything from scratch for my kids' bake sales, but I'd never baked before. And then one day it kind of hit me. I was like, if you've never baked, you're never going to bake as a mom. It's very simple, but it's like, if you don't have a habit of doing something, it won't just click in.
Yep.
The first thing, like, go to the baking aisle. I'd never even been in the baking aisle in the grocery store. Just like such a small thing, like looking at how you bake, looking up recipes. Like, it's really simple, but if you think of it like that, it will be so much easier for you to start taking those like smaller steps, just to surround yourself with stuff like that.
Yeah. That leads us to another extremely important point that I often forget about or get impatient with, is you have to learn to forget or let go of the how. So this involves having a lot of trust and patience in how things will work out. I think when we all have this plan, whatever the plan is for ourselves, we try to figure out the steps in between, or we try to have it perfectly planned out. I'm here, and in order to get to step 4, I need to do 1, 2, 3. Whereas if you have an idea of what your 4 is, leave space. I guess what we're trying to share here is the steps in between. Leave room for that to grow and to expand and to adapt and evolve as it needs to. So it's an element of relinquishing control, which is very, very challenging for someone like myself, and I think Ella can agree. It's always easier, obviously, to look when you have the thing that you want. It's so much easier to look back and be like, oh, wow, that's how it came about. But when you're in it, the how is something that we really don't have much control over. We think we do. But I believe that when you relinquish that control and you kind of leave room for things to adapt the way that they need to, you'd be surprised how things actually end up appearing in your life. Yeah. It may not be the way that you had expected originally, but yeah, this is there's a balance here. There needs to be a balance of what obviously you do in terms of getting yourself there, but also leaving a little bit of wiggle room for how it presents itself.
That is like the hardest one for me.
Because it's so hard.
That's how my mind works, the step by step. I'm very organized. I love systems. I love to work backwards from things. So if I know like what I want, immediately I'm like, okay, so how am I going to do that? Step 1, step 2. But then immediately your mind just goes to, oh, I don't know. If you don't know how, you're like, oh,
you get discouraged.
You get so frustrated, and then there's so much resistance because then you're spending so much time trying to figure that part out when it's like you could have just moved on to the next thing.
1,000,000%. It's all about adapting your plans or being open to adapting the plans, learning from new experiences, and reassessing your goals as needed, right? So if the goal that you've been trying or working towards, there's so much resistance, maybe it's just a matter of adapting it.
Yeah.
Just being open to that, I think, is
our coach and somebody that we look up to a lot. Her example like really clicked with me. She says, when you order something on Uber Eats, you just put in the order and then put your phone down and go back to what you're doing. You don't call Uber Help Center and ask like, hey, do you mind telling me like what car the driver's going to get there in and what the driver's name is and where they are right now and
how are they driving,
what route they're going to take to my house. No, you just know you've put in the order, you knew what you wanted, and you just trust that Uber Eats is going to get you your order to your house. And I do some things like I put out plates, I put out napkins, but those are things I have control over.
Right.
And then I just wait for the food to get there. So I just thought that was such a good example because it's so true, right? That takes us to our next point, which is inspired action. So inspired action is the part of putting out the plates and the napkins and getting the utensils out.
The things you can do.
The things that you can do, which like, yeah, we're not saying, okay, universe, I want a yacht and that's what my purpose is and that's the end of the day. I'm just going to go back and get my Cheetos and watch my Netflix series. I mean, do that too. Like that part is important, but there is an element of having faith and trusting that what is for you will come to you. But there's also the co-creation. We have to do things like embody that persona, do those things that person that we want to be would do. There's things like taking inspired action. Break it down. What are the goals? What are some different things I can try? Get out of my comfort zone. Different places I can go. Just anything that's an action that you can do. I'm like, let's say you don't have to know every single step, but let's say you took a different route to work or you took this class that kind of has to do with the overall picture. You don't know what doors are going to be opening there.
But like you're opening the doors.
Yeah, you're opening the doors for yourself. So I hope that makes sense, like the difference between those two things.
Yeah, and both equally important.
Yeah.
Another analogy for the inspired action is this is more of the doing side of the manifesting. So this is the part where you actually co-create, like Ella said. So an element of this could be, instead of adding, maybe this is a time that you make space. So if you're asking or if something that you're trying to manifest or call in requires, it's going to take a good chunk of your time and your energy and your space. Do you have room in your life for it? So this circles right back to the beginning in our first point in self-discovery and your why and your values. maybe there's something that needs to be released at the end of this whole manifestation in order for something new to come in. So another analogy that one of our mentors uses is that if you have a car parked in the driveway, but you're manifesting, a perfect example, another car, there's no room for it. You need to pull that out or make space, or if there's something, if your closet's jam-packed, use your closet as a metaphor for your life. If everything is packed, your time is so full, there's no boundaries, there's nothing protecting it. This could be an opportunity for you to go into that self-discovery and that internal organization and see where it is you can make room to be able to call in this manifestation or whatever it is you're desiring. It's just a matter of, it's whether you're taking inspired action and moving towards something, or if you're staying where you are and you're just making space. All equally important. Inspired action is just a matter of what you can do.
Yeah, what you have control over.
Yeah.
And the last thing would be just the consistency and patience of the inspired action. So you can't throw one thing at the wall and then be like, well, I tried and that's it. You have to be consistent with things sometimes. Don't force yourself to do things if you don't want to, if you've tried something and it's not working.
And it doesn't feel good.
If it doesn't feel good. But if it does feel good, but you're not seeing the results you want, just trust that it is working. It is working. And it eventually will be yours. Consistency is key.
Is so key. Think about anything you do in life. Anything that you do, it's like a repetitive habit or repetitive. You eventually, you get better at it, right? So if you are constantly putting that energy out there, and that's the thing with consistency, right? Is you're unconsciously or consciously staying in that vibration. So it'll become more fluid in terms of this whole process will become so second nature to you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think that's it. Those are all of our tips to manifest your purpose. If you have any questions, let us know. If you wanted us to clarify anything, if you have any that you want to share with us, we'd love to hear.
And we know it can kind of be a little bit overwhelming at the beginning. These are the 5 points that I would say stand out the most, and they have been very apparent in our lives. And we say these with confidence, but trust me when I say, when we hit these points in our personal manifestation journeys, it can be a bit of a struggle. So don't feel like if something is, like Ella said, if it's not working for you right now, that's normal. We've all been in that situation. We will all continue to be in this situation. We have a beautiful club. You can come and chat to us, and you can chat with others in that same chapter of their lives. So come and talk and be a part of a community where you can openly express these ideas and these experiences with others.
Yeah, it's actually the perfect place.
It really is.
Going through this. Tell us where you're at in your journey.
Love it.
Yeah, how can we help? How can we cheer you on? We want you there.
So if the wheels are spinning after this podcast and you're thinking, okay, I think I've got a grasp on it, I've got an idea of what I'm working towards. If you're looking for a community, and that's where the light bulb lit up during this episode, come join us inside the Grow with the Flow Club. We would love to even just talk with you, talk through it. Sometimes that helps us. If you feel like just brain dumping, we're there for that too, and we would love to see you.
We love it. We're going to put the link in the show notes for you, so it'll be easy. Just click it there. If this episode was valuable to you, you learned something, or it really resonated with you, we'd love if you would write a review for us. It really helps us rank higher so that more people can find us and our message can be spread wider.
Yeah, we love it. And like Ella said, if this resonated, or if it's something that you needed to hear today, feel free to send it to a friend. Tag us on Instagram. Anything. If you feel like somebody else needs to hear this message, it really, 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 truly means so much to us. And we love meeting the new faces that come to our page and that come to the podcast. So we love you guys. We're very, very grateful for you. And we will see you next week.
Okay, see you guys.